Hello, everyone, and welcome to the September 2nd, 2015 episode of Balls Deep Sports Talk. I am your weekly Hump Day hero, Scotty Ball, hosting the show as I do every Wednesday night on WNLMradio.com, and we are also broadcast via the Spreaker app, the TuneIn app, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So thanks for tuning in as always. We got plenty of sports to talk about tonight, as we always do. There's never a sports off season, for all sports, just individually, and even then there's news. But some of the things we'll be talking about tonight here on the show. We'll definitely be having a football heavy show here tonight, and probably every week for the next 6 months. In general, with football season finally being underway, as we've got the college football season kicking off tomorrow night. There might actually even be a few games officially starting the season tonight. I will have to double check on that, but I know a lot of the games in the season start tomorrow night for the NCAA football season, or as well as this Saturday. Obviously, Saturdays are generally your big college football day, but they do have games throughout the week as well. But so we've got college football season starting this week, tomorrow, for your Big Ten Minnesota Golden Gophers. So we will be talking a fair amount of college football, getting you prepared for the upcoming season, who to expect to be good, who to expect is already a little bit overrated, things of that nature. We'll also be talking plenty of baseball, as we are, we're in the home stretch of the regular season for the Major League Baseball season, so lots of divisions still being fought for, and wild card positions as well. So we'll be catching you up to speed on all of the baseball standings. Of course, we'll be talking a lot of NFL football. We are currently now in the final week of the preseason. Tomorrow night is the Vikings' last preseason game. I assume most teams have their final preseason game tomorrow night. There may be some on Friday yet. It's possible as well. But like I said, for the most part, I think most teams in the league will be ending their preseason tomorrow night. So we'll definitely be talking a lot of NFL football as well. We've also got the United States Open Tennis Tournament finally underway, and they are already in round 2 of that. So we will be catching you up to date on all of the current action and activity that's transpired in the United States Open Tennis Tournament. And we'll find out, I'll let you know if Serena Williams is still in there on her quest for the calendar Grand Slam, which has not been accomplished by anyone in the world of tennis since Steffi Graf did it back in 1988. So we'll definitely have tennis to talk about as well. We'll discuss a little bit of PGA, and Jason Day was your big winner last week at the PGA Barclays tournament. He is, not just saying this as a prisoner of the moment because he won the most recent major, but if you follow the show, you know that, that's not the case. He has just had himself one heck of a golf season, period, from start to finish. Him and Spieth are the only players on tour this year that have won 3 or more tournaments. So it's not just this would be Jason Day's 4th tournament win of the season, I'm pretty sure, at the Barclays. So we'll discuss Mr. Jason Day and the current state of the PGA just a little bit as well. We might get you caught up on some NASCAR Cup standings if we can, find 30 seconds in the show to do that. It's going to be tough, or just for all you NASCAR fans. I'm just going to, I don't want to get your hopes up too high right now. Like, it's a jam-packed show. So if there is no Cup standings for your NASCAR mentioned at some point in this evening's broadcast, it's simply because there literally wasn't 60 seconds available to do it. Nothing personal. But anyway, so I'll at least, like I said, for the NASCAR fans, I'll at least try and report the current Cup standings. Not a whole lot of UFC news yet to discuss other than the continued back and forth between Ronda Rousey and Floyd Mayweather. Read an interesting article on that today too by someone who I think is really on to something here. I think he's already figured it out. Not that it's a good idea. I think he thought of it as an idea, but I think in all honesty what he thought of as an idea is actually what's really the explanation for what's really happening. But so maybe we'll touch on that. Boxing, and next week we'll talk some boxing as Floyd Mayweather will be fighting Mr. Berto here coming up on the 12th of September. So on next week's show we'll be able to preview that fight a little more. It doesn't really just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to dive into our preview of that fight here tonight. Would make much more sense on next week's show. Some WNBA standings as that season is winding down. There's probably only a week and a half left of regular season games. Minnesota Lynx have been on a bit of a schneid. Wow, I worked that in just over 6 minutes. There was your first schneid spotting for my balls deep goers who play their balls deep drinking games. And schneid, I know, is one of the one of the trigger words. So anyway, we'll be catching you up on the closing week and a half of the WNBA season and what their playoff picture looks like. We also will be talking pro wrestling, as we always do here on the show. Plenty of WWE to discuss. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of NXT, some Lucha Underground, rumors or uncertainty. The October 3rd, live in Madison Square Garden, WWE special event, the second of its kind here this year. And then Jimmy Snuka, pro wrestling legend, Hall of Famer, icon, pioneer. He has landed himself in the news, and that's a juicy story. So, spoiler alert right there. We got some Jimmy Snuka coming up in the Balls Juice segment of the show, as well as maybe a few other things. And then we will, we'll officially. So that's your preview. That's your outline for what's coming up on the show tonight. And we'll officially. I got to get this in before we go any further. It would have been a part of last week's show, however. I want to say it happened within 24 hours after last week's show aired. So I will bring it up now so that it doesn't get neglected. But we do have a sad passing to report in the sports world. If you did not hear last week, I believe it was on Thursday, the night after Balls Deep Sports Talk. Possibly on Friday, but I believe it was on Thursday. Former NBA great, the legend of broken backboards, Daryl Dawkins, a.k.a. Chocolate Thunder, passed away. I believe he was in his... I did not write down the age. I believe he was only in his late 50s or early 60s. So it was, that's fairly young this day and age to be passing away. But I have no doubts that Mr. Chocolate Thunder lived a very full, happy life, and he's most likely in a better place now. And may he rest in peace. So we dedicate tonight's show to the memory of Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins. All right. Well, first off, boy, I don't even know if I did this. Thanks for listening. Again, this is Balls Deep Sports Talk with your host, Scotty Ball. Where should we start for Balls on Fire this week? That's nuts on a stick. Hey, that's something they don't have at the fair. Speaking of, sorry, a little sidetracked, but that just made me think. It's the Minnesota State Fair, the Great Minnesota Get Together, is still going on, and my family and I attended last weekend. We had a wonderful time, and we had, I think the most insane thing that I tried for food was a deep fried Twinkie on a stick. And I gotta tell you, if you're even mildly a fan of Twinkies, Holy bejesus. You gotta go to the State Fair and try one of those deep fried Twinkies on a stick. You can get strawberry on it, you can get chocolate on it, you can get powdered sugar on it, or any combination of all three of those. I just went with the powdered sugar route, trying to keep it, true as I can to a actual Twinkie. But wow, great stuff. So if you're a Minnesotan, don't you know, like I am, highly recommend getting out to the Great Minnesota Get Together here before it is over. And also to all my weekly Balls Deep goers, we got Labor Day weekend coming up this weekend. And if you are celebrating boating, drinking, traveling to and fro, what have you, we just ask that you make sure to do it safely. A lot of times it's not you, it's the other idiots. And if you're simply prepared for the appearance, of idiots randomly, throughout your day, you can avoid a lot of disaster. So just reminding everyone to be safe this upcoming Labor Day weekend as well. Now, one final thing, okay, I promise. One final thing that I'm just going to plug here real quick, and then we'll get into the opening segment. But after much thought, I've decided to give something a try, okay? And I'm counting on you guys, my weekly Balls Deep goers, my loyal, Balls Deep army, to help this pan out for me, to make it not, the horrible, heartbreaking, soul-crushing defeat on my end, okay? But I have decided that I am going to try and put together a Balls Deep Sports Talk Fantasy Football League. Alright? Yes! I've been giving fantasy football advice here the last couple weeks, helping everybody get prepared for their drafts best I can. We will touch on a little bit of fantasy football yet this week as well, coming up in the show. But like I said, I have decided that we need a fantasy football league of Balls Deep goers. So, if you are interested, I hope you are. I mean, if we can get 8 people to go to the frickin' league and sign up for it, that'll be a huge success in my eyes. But we'll have as many as 16, if we can get at least 16 people to sign up. But anyway, we'll start with just enough, that's an even number to fill, to have a draft. But so the information that you need for that, if you are interested, okay, first off, the league will be on NFL.com. So that's where you'll need to go to find the league, sign up for the league. So when you go to NFL.com and you sign in and you search to join a fantasy football league, it will be either, we'll have to have a password, okay, so it'll probably be under private. The name of the league will be Balls Deep Sports Talk. The password will be simply deep, okay? So, Balls Deep Sports Talk, Fantasy Football League, that's what you got to, that's the name of the league, Balls Deep Sports Talk. And then your password is deep, just one word, deep, okay? So, if you're interested in being in the inaugural, pioneer, pilgrim maiden voyage of the Balls Deep Fantasy Football League, please go on to NFL.com sometime tonight or tomorrow, very soon. Look up Balls Deep Sports Talk for the name of the league, and then type in your password, deep. And, like I said, hopefully we're going to give it a shot. Hopefully we'll have at least 8, and we'll be able to do a draft before the season starts next Thursday. For the record, I feel that, just so you know, if you are interested in signing up, we will hold the draft next week on Wednesday night while Balls Deep is airing. As it is podcast form, I do pre-record it immediately before it airs. So we'll set the draft for 9:30 Central Standard Time for next Wednesday, Balls Deep Sports Talk night. If you're interested, then that way, come 9 o'clock, we can all tune in, crank up Balls Deep Sports Talk on whatever listening device we're going to use, and then we can go grab our other internet connected device that we're going to use for our drafting, and boom, we have our